A week after my wife and I got engaged, we started going through our phones, looking at all the vendors that we still needed for our wedding day. We had our venue picked out, our date, we had our photographer, and the church, and so much more picked out within that first week or so. At that point, as a newly engaged couple, you're going through your phones right now too, the exact same thing. You're coming to me, a DJ company, and you start price quoting all your different vendors. Again, trying to adjust what you guys want for a budget for your wedding. And it's interesting, a few hours later, you're gonna find this DJ company and it'll come back to you and say, hey, congratulations, we're available for your wedding date. Here is everything you get. You get speakers, lights, microphones, you get timelines, wedding planning preparation, pretty much the bells and whistles and everything you can get too with that for $500. Yeah, I know, super cheap. Incredible. But you know what's even more interesting? A few hours later, another DJ company will come back to you and will quote you $5,000 for the exact same thing as the first DJ. My name is Corey, I'm your friendly neighborhood DJ, and today I'm going to share with you why DJ companies price themselves the way they do. So to start off, this is a fun exercise we're gonna do with you and your spouse. And if your spouse isn't there, if you guys are at work or separate, that's okay. If you are there, great. And I want you to write down a number, very important. I want you to write down a number between 1 to 10, and 1 being lowest, 10 being the highest. And I want you to be honest. How important is a DJ for your wedding? So I'm gonna give you a moment so you can write that down. And the next thing is I wanna address the DJ. See how the DJ company's watching this too. What's up? I see you. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in too. Just as a disclaimer, I'm going to be as transparent and real as possible. I was able to gather these details for these clients. And yeah, there are going to be a few of you that are going to be they're going to be way wrong. You might get a little angry with me, and that's okay. You know, I'm going to share with you in future videos how I can really share the quality of what you guys can do. And to be honest, you should be raising your prices. Okay, so now that we have that number ready to go, let's talk about tier 1. In this tier, this is if you're going to budget for a DJ that's $1,500 or less. I like to give you the number right away just to kind of give you that sticker shock first and pretty much get exactly what you're paying for. So if you hire a DJ at $1,500 or less, here's roughly kind of what you get. You get a DJ that is strictly part-time. They do this for fun. You find it's a family friend or a relative that'll do it for you. It's interesting, when you meet with a tier 1 DJ at a coffee shop or a bar, the way they talk with you is quite unique because they're gonna say yes to everything and what you want. We want timelines, yes. We want the dollar dance, yes. We want elephants, yes. We want Hugh Jackman. So there's a picture of Hugh Jackman right here, put in, hopefully. You know, they're gonna set some very unrealistic expectations and they're gonna say yes to everything. They have no insurance, they have no business plan, you know, because they do it for fun. And probably the worst thing is there's no backup plan. So if they're not available on your wedding day, who's gonna be available? Who's gonna cover it? There really is no guarantee. So here, it's a side hustle for easy money. It's likely that you're gonna be treated the exact same way. Well, Corey, I charge $1,000 to do a wedding, and I do 40 events a year, and I provide timelines and all this. I get it. Don't worry. Realistically, remember, like I said earlier, you should be raising your prices. So, for the bride and groom, if you wrote down a 1 to a 4, that's right, if you wrote down a 1, 2, 3, or 4, $1,500 or less is where you should be setting your budget. So now let's move on to tier 2. So these are DJs you're gonna find within the $1,500 to about $2,500 range. These are DJs that have all the correct licensing and insurance possible. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, sorry about that. These are DJs that know what they're doing. They have a solid business plan. They have all the correct licensing, they have the correct insurance. They purchase all their music legally. They have it all professional and ready to go. This kind of falls along the line that you see for a lot of multi-up companies around here too. And for the term multi-up, that means it's a company that hires a ton of DJs where they can do up to so and so many events on a night. You could have 15 DJs in the company. They can do up to 10 weddings on one night. This is great. This is really exceptional and something that is kind of my weakness, because when I'm booked on a wedding, I can't do 2 weddings at once. I can't be at 2 places at once. But a tier 2 DJ, absolutely, they can be there. They have the most availability for you. When you meet with a multi-up company, you're gonna meet with either the owner or a sales manager, and they're gonna share with you their whole presentation, kind of what they do. And they're gonna give you an assortment of DJs or assortment packages depending on again what you choose and what's around your budget. They either sell in different packages, or maybe each DJ has a different pricing. So you have the entry level DJs with the company around that $1,500, and then you have less veteran DJs, the more seasonal ones, and the owner, of course, in that top tier, and kind of moves from bottom to top. So these are companies, when you go to a wedding, they're gonna have the same speakers, the same lights, the same microphone, the same banner, the same process, how they talk to. Even music in their playlist is automated the exact same way. I've had actually my own clients come to me and said like, oh yeah, I knew it was at a so-and-so wedding because they can actually predict the next song that was gonna be played. And that could be very boring to some too. Tier 2, DJ. Solid choice. So if you wrote down on that list a 5, 6, or 7, you should be able to be within the budget of $1,500 to $2,500 for these DJs. Solid choice. I started my career actually as a tier 2 DJ, and I've been getting very blessed that I was able to start with a multi-up company and then went on to my own. There's nothing wrong with it. There really isn't. A lot of companies that I refer often are these multi-up companies. So what do we have left? Tier 3. So these are DJs, if you did the math right, this is when you budget for a DJ that's $2,500 and up. And if you wrote down on that number, this is where you have an 8, 9, or 10. You should be budgeting around that $2,500 marker or higher. These are actually DJs that take time to get to know you, to get to know your friends, to know your family, to show what an awesome dance party looks like to you. For example, what I do for clients, just for the extra care factor, I found out a couple details early on. So the moment a bride and groom walks in my office, the first thing they see their names and their wedding date, something that I took the time and personalized for them. And also in the background, when they sit down and we start having the conversation, I'm playing the background music automatically through a Spotify playlist I customized, made for them. I didn't book the client yet. Keep in mind, I didn't book them yet, but this is something that I felt so important, where like if I want a budget for a high class DJ, a professional, to know to actually have someone that has that care factor. These are DJs, when you go onto their website and you go into their social media and all that, 3 to 8 paragraphs long, if not more. Huge, outstanding reviews. Very rare would a bride and groom feel obligated to want to write a review. Even had parents write reviews. I've had a bride and groom write a review for me before they even got married. Had written reviews, including over-the-top glowing reviews. And to recap everything, there's nothing wrong with any of the 3 tiers, no matter what number you wrote. But remember, if you wrote down 8 or 9 and you had a budget of $1,000, you need to rethink that. Maybe need to kind of cut somewhere else or try to save up money, because if you hire a $1,000 DJ with a high expectation, very, very unlikely that you're gonna meet that. And you're gonna be very disappointed on your DJ. And guys, that is the last memory you want from your wedding, is to be disappointed. I hope this gives you a better idea on where to align your budget for your wedding DJ, and best of luck to all my clients out there. But let's continue this conversation. Because you know what's interesting is, well, for one, if you like the content, if you like everything what we do, hit the subscribe button below. All it costs you is 1 click. Because brides and grooms, I'm sharing all my games, I'm sharing all my entertainment, all my future videos. You're not gonna wanna miss those. I plan on streaming live 3 times a week on a platform called Twitch. The link is in the description below. Click on that, hit a follow, so make sure that you know notified when I go live. I go live every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, yep, at 9:30 Central. To my future brides and grooms, Best of luck in your wedding planning. I hope everything goes smoothly. To my DJs out there, have an awesome season this year. Enjoy the rest of 2020 that we have. And of course, I'll see you online.